What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, January 2nd edition, first of 2017. Technically, Fightful has existed throughout 2 years. I already think we need some more awards, but I guess we got to wait for those. But if you go to our Twitter, scroll down a bunch through all the Raw stuff, you can vote in our year-end awards. I took up nominations this week. Alex Pawlowski is joining me, and it is a dead heat right now for Fightful Podcast Moment of the Year. On one hand, we have Alex Pawlowski's promo on Jeff Hawkins, which I absolutely hated. And on the other hand, we have Vince Russo singing Shawn Michaels' theme, which I absolutely loved.
Well, there's no accounting
Can't overcome.
There's no accounting for taste, Sean Sapp. So, to each his own. There are a lot of people out there who liked my promo and weren't.
Maybe the 2017 Fightful Podcast Moment of the Year will be you opening up the cake that I bake you with a file in it, so you can break out of that goddamn prison that you're in.
Yeah, this is a basement. It's a block basement. I gotta do some home improvements apparently for you, so that it can appease yourself there.
We have somebody saying, I want Fightful shirts before the Rumble so I can wear them to the Rumble. I'm working on it. I'll see what I can cook up. I'm pretty sure that we can get something done. We had Monday Night Raw. But before that, there's a little something we got to talk about. Something happened Friday with possible WWE ramifications. Ronda Rousey lost. She got her ass knocked out pretty bad. Well, TKO'd. There's been a lot of talk. You got Jonathan Coachman saying she absolutely won't be brought in by the WWE. I personally say she might be, but her stock is down. I think it's ridiculous to say that Ronda Rousey won't be brought in by the WWE, but I got people comparing her to Brock Lesnar and Mike Tyson and things like that, and I want to do Mike Tyson was a bigger cultural figure than Ronda Rousey. Not saying that Ronda Rousey isn't a big one. Also, even though he was riding a 2-fight losing streak, he was eating human beings at the time. He wasn't being viciously knocked out and running from the media, like, unfortunately, Ronda Rousey's doing. Also, the Brock Lesnar situation. Okay, this is a guy who had a 2-year run as a pro wrestler. He won a Royal Rumble, King of the Ring. He beat The Rock. He became WWE Undisputed Champion. He headlined a WrestleMania. He became IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And he lost 2 fights, and everybody knew that he was sick. As I've joked on the podcast before, the man had a surgically removed butthole. He was sick. Different situation than Ronda Rousey. Do I think she'll be brought in? It's quite possible. If I were to do it, I would say you bring her in, you gauge her reaction, and then you let that judge how you handle it. If she gets a good reaction, I would put her with Charlotte. I would have Charlotte just heal the hell out of her because Charlotte's really good at it, and say just because you're washed up in your sport doesn't mean you can come over to ours. Get some sympathy off of that. If it's a bad reaction, maybe a Bayley or a Sasha Banks, because I think either one of those 2 women are good enough. And Rousey can do enough to work. She can work a Nia Jax style without the size. She can throw people, do that type of stuff. Alex, what do you think of the Ronda Rousey situation?
Well, I thought that if she just lost, not looked terrible in defeat, losing in the first minute of the first round, but just lost, that she'd probably retire from UFC and go to WWE. I thought if she won, she might leave. But the way she looked in that match, there's a lot of people who watch WWE, casual fans who don't watch UFC, who've heard of her but don't really know anything about her, that kind of stuff. To those people, they really won't care if she's brought in. To the people who are crossover fans who do watch UFC right now and through certainly the spring, Ronda Rousey's kind of a joke. So I don't know.
And that's crazy to say, but it is true to some people. She is a walking meme right now, unfortunately.
There's a lot of stuff out there that's frankly kind of cruel. And like, people just either they were rooting for her to lose and she lost in the most embarrassing way possible. She looked like somebody who had never fought before in that match.
Oh yeah.
So like had never even had a schoolyard fight with a bully. Like she had no idea how to handle herself. It was jarring to watch, knowing what she looked like just a year and a half ago.
So I'll tell you guys, go back and watch the Friday podcast I did immediately after. By the way, thank you guys. The most watched MMA podcast we've ever done. I think it's the third most watched podcast we've done, period. Also, Friday, we had a great show with Shane Helms where he and I broke down some of the confusing rules of pro wrestling. You all got to check that out, as well as the latest, most ridiculous with Anna Bauer. Those have been getting high praise lately. Also, the Matt Riddle podcast, open to everybody. But on the Friday show, I hadn't got to see the press conference yet. Ronda Rousey striking was so bad. It was real bad. No fundamental improvements over a year. That Amanda Nunes, her opponent, said, my game plan was to assume that she would have shitty coaching. And I wrote a feature on it that is up on the site now. It's titled, Ronda Rousey, Run Away as Fast as You Can from Edmond and GFC, You Can Still Thrive. She is still a fantastic fighter who can win, who can beat the majority of the top 15 division. However, she made $3 million disclosed. That's before Reebok. That's before pay-per-view cuts. That's before additional sponsors. She's going to walk away with more money than she knows what to do with. And she's got a boyfriend who still fights. She's going to make money on the backside. I think WWE has a lot more interest in a guy named Conor McGregor than they do a woman named Ronda Rousey right now. Now, does that mean I think that they have no interest in Ronda Rousey? No, I don't think that's the case. I think either the ways that I mentioned it, it could happen. Also, before we get into the show, I just want to say, Alex, I mentioned this to you on Skype. If they had Total Del Rios, I'd watch every episode. No, I would watch it from start to finish. I wouldn't DVR it. I would be home Wednesday night at 9 p.m., an off night for me now, and I would watch every episode. The man got into a fight and went to jail this weekend.
He not only got into a fight. Did you read all the details? He got into a fight with somebody else. He and his brother in Austria at a nightclub in Austria. So there's all kinds of crazy drugs there. Got into a fight with somebody, right? They put somebody in the hospital. Then they were arrested. They put wire cuffs on him. He broke out of those cuffs. They had to use ankle cuffs on Del Rio. They took him to the police station. At the police station, he started a fight with his own brother, who he was fighting alongside at the nightclub. It took 10 police officers to separate them. And that was on Friday. On Monday, he's back in the States. Somebody call Interpol. I'm pretty sure he escaped an Austrian prison.
Hey, that happens. Me and a bouncer at a bar had to break up a father and son that fought each other at a bar one time. There's a video of it online. But then the father and son that were fighting each other, tried to team up and double dragon everybody's asses. There were women soccer kicking people. It was psychotic.
Oh.
Psychotic. That's under Alehouse Brawl somewhere online. But hey, Del Rio is a pro fighter.
Yeah.
A professional fighter.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different situation than a couple of rednecks at a bar.
Yeah.
And then he Paige and him showed up at the taping or at the venue today. They were there briefly, allegedly to talk about Paige's neck injury. We don't know that for sure. That's just hearsay. And then Del Rio tweets, and I quote, "I'm pregnant, Marks, talk about it."
Is he confusing that when people say we're pregnant? My wife is pregnant. So
I don't care. I love it.
I think it's great if he's actually dropping the knowledge that somehow pregnant he knocked up Paige, because that would be crazy.
I hate the term marks. I really do. Because people don't know what it means anymore. But I love there are some situations that's a perfect use of it. It's so funny. And when Hogan was like, "Hey, Marks, don't work yourself into a shoot." I love that.
It's so good.
Somebody says, have you seen Sean Ross Sapp's wrestling theme? Wow, that was something. Somebody made a theme of what's up.
Oh, yeah?
To the yeah. Oh, man. Monday Night Raw. The return of Goldberg. We're going to have a lot of shows this week, guys. Before we get into all that, let's see. We got post-SmackDown show. Showdown Joe on Wednesday. I'm filming with Shane before he goes to the TNA tapings. I got Matt Riddle Thursday. I think Wednesday afternoon, I wanted to save it till this weekend, but I would feel like a real jackass if I didn't cover Wrestle Kingdom for you guys the afternoon after, because I want to treat that as important as it is. So I'll be doing that, and I'll combine it, I think, with a year-end awards show that Alex and I will do. So, yeah, I'm hoping I can make some special things happen for that show, but there you go. This show brought to you by Onnit. Head over to Onnit. Head over to our podcast page, Fightful.com/podcast. Fightful.com, your home for all your wrestling, MMA, boxing, news, columns, interviews, exclusives, videos, podcasts, coverage. And use the supplements that Bailey, Donald Cerrone, Seth Rollins, Cesaro, new UFC bantamweight champion Cody Garbrandt use. They use the Onnit, Alpha Brain, the Shroom Tech, the T+, all that great stuff. I love taking Onnit Alpha Brain before our podcast. That way, I'm ready to go mentally for some of these shows. Head over there, click on that Onnit link on the Fightful.com page, and support the Fightful podcast. If you want to sponsor the Fightful podcast, email me, Sean@Fightful.com. We'll work out a little something. Brandon Hughes in our chat says, I've been taking Onnit New Mood for 2 weeks. I notice a difference. Oh, yeah. Onnit New Mood combined with that Alpha Brain, I get deeper sleep. I am a lucid dreamer now. I know when I am in dreams. So I just troll about my own dreams. You know how fun that is? In my dreams, I'm like busting Alex Pawlowski out of his basement prison. We're doing heists. Like, it's so awesome. It's great.
If we're setting up a team to go for a heist, I want to bring in Del Rio. He'll be the muscle.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. He's the number one draft pick.
Busting out of prisons. So,
yeah. We got Fightful.com raw coverage for you guys. Opening segment. I got to say this. Now, I am a huge proponent of DDP yoga. And they're not paying me to say this. They are the reason I was able to get back into the ring. And Mick Foley, at no point during his DDP yoga experience did he look like he lost 100 pounds until he cut his hair. Then he looked like he lost 100 pounds.
Well, that was a lot of hair he cut. That was at least the last 3 pounds of that 100 came out of the head.
Jared KO were funny here, and the sky is blue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were great. Foley was not good. Like I feel bad for the guy. Like the hair doesn't work. It looked like he cut it with a weed whacker. I honestly thought it was a wig. It looked so bad. Like he had scrunched all of his other hair up underneath a wig, which is why it was all lopsided and lumpy. And then he
has no confidence. This guy, no confidence at all.
No, he can't. Like he made the joke, which I thought was clever. That now I'm gonna write the name of the town I'm in on my hand so I don't mess it up like I did last week. That's fine. And then later he banned Jericho from ringside, but Jericho was in the match that he was banning him from. And like it was just awkward. And I feel bad for the guy, and he should just go and do his thing where he's not in pain, like get his pop for that $60,000, Mick. Lord knows you probably got it. If nobody's going to get your insurance, then he doesn't look right walking to the ring. He's got to be in horrible pain. My father-in-law had his hip replaced, and Mick Foley looks like he did before the operation. It was not good.
I know that I did not miss Stephanie McMahon on hiatus a while back, but I'm glad that she's at least acting like she's on the same page as the GM that she handpicked. That was cool. And I really loved that Stephanie brought up that SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings.
Yes, I like that too. And I thought it was odd that they chose to react to that by having basically the same matches they've been having for.
Isn't that weird?
Why wouldn't you change that up?
I'll go ahead. I mean, you all can go and check it out on the Fightful.com awards polling. The top promotions in wrestling voting is like WWE, New Japan, I can't remember the other one, but then just SmackDown. SmackDown. And SmackDown's blowing everybody out of the water. So people went to the trouble of not voting for WWE just to vote and nominate SmackDown, which tells you plenty. 3 hours is too long. We're not going to beat that dead horse. Okay. We had Seth Rollins facing Kevin Owens. And if Kevin Owens lost, he was banned from ringside in the Roman Reigns-Chris Jericho match. Rollins won via DQ. They did really good work as expected, but a couple of weeks away from the Rumble, this all felt inconsequential.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, maybe this is why they always wait so long to announce pay-per-view cards generally. Because they're afraid that it'll all seem inconsequential until then. I will say that the DQ protected both guys to a degree, but it made Kevin Owens look like an idiot. Like he didn't know the rules of wrestling. He hit a man with a ring bell in front of the ref, then goes, "What?
Yeah.
What?"
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought on the first time I watched it that he didn't realize the ref was seeing it. But that's still a stupid reason to do it. If the whole point, my thought was though that whoever lost this match, I mean, the winner of this match got the right to interfere in the match between Jericho and Reigns, which was just a weird way of booking your thing. Like whoever's going to be at ringside is going to do this, but I guess they changed that by having Rollins never even show up during that match, which was just a weird. I don't know. It was the whole thing was just a weird way of doing it. Yeah, I'm never going to complain about seeing Owens wrestle Seth Rollins, but at the same time, like, okay, didn't I just watch this like at least a dozen times in the past 6 weeks? Like, it just feels that way. So
that'll be a theme of the week for WWE. We got Ziggler Corbin tomorrow, which might be okay, but they haven't traditionally had really good matches together outside of the triple threat match. Carl Anderson faces Cesaro, and Cesaro got an awesome pop, and the crowd was a lot more into this match than I expected. I will say, big shocker that a guy named Anderson has an awesome spine buster.
Yeah.
And I wish that they would allude that he is related to Arn, Gene, Lars, and Ole.
Right.
In some manner. Otherwise, I mean, why would they let him use the Anderson name? But I wish they would at least allude to that. What would it hurt? What would it help? It'd just be a cool little thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was an interesting thing. Like there was one of not a fallout, but I guess a fall in video that they posted before of talking to Anderson and Gallows about this match, where Anderson was just like, yeah, a bunch of all these fans, they get so upset about the littlest things. Like I tore a head off a bear last week. So what? I'm like, wow. Okay, so we're blowing past that. And he doesn't care that you were upset about that. That's fine. But it further cements that angle was for nothing. It didn't build to a feud between Goldust and Anderson or between Golden Truth and Guns and Gallows. It was just a thing. And, I mean, I guess we're getting to this point where it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson as your program, and we're dragging that out by having a singles match.
Anderson and Gallows, who have failed in 5 attempts to get the titles already.
Right. But not against this team. It's a whole new ball game. I don't get any of this. The problem with this is that the lower anything below like 3 teams on Raw, especially now that you've basically said Enzo and Cass are not allowed to be part of the tag team division. Like it's just abysmal. Everything lower than those top 3 teams, they're not allowed to do anything. So it's really kind of sad to see what's going on. But I don't know.
I thought the finish of this match was fantastic. Cesaro was on the top rope about to superplex Carl Anderson. Gallows jumps on the apron, and Cesaro goes to help his partner, and he is all about his partner on commentary. Like he's putting him over.
Yeah.
They are on the same page. success heals a lot of issues, and it did with these two guys. Cesaro or Sheamus goes to help him, but accidentally hits the rope, and Cesaro gets crotched, and Anderson hits a badass flying neck breaker for the win. Mm-hmm. I'm talking like an A+ flying neck breaker. That was really cool.
Yeah, the match was good. It feels like also you've put the belts on Cesaro and Sheamus, so let's have them lose most of their matches where the title's not up for grabs.
I hate that. I hate that.
I hate it, and I wish they would stop doing that. But
I think a thing that Jason Solomon says is champs are chumps. That's pretty much the situation. Yep. Used to be a lot worse. It used to be a lot worse. Like, you'd have your Intercontinental Champion losing and your Cruiserweight Champion losing to your World Champion like every week. This next segment. By the way, just want to throw this out here, guys. 3 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday morning. That'd be midnight Pacific, Tuesday/Wednesday. We got Wrestle Kingdom coverage. Live coverage and discussion. Fightful.com. I'm either going to stay up or go to sleep and then wake up or something, but I'll be there for that. The Machine, David Tease, is covering that. Of course. Why wouldn't David Tease cover that? But we got you covered, guys. Last man standing match. Braun Strowman defeats Sami Zayn. This was my main event, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
The people's main event.
Yes.
And had that main event segment not happen, and I'll be honest, I'm not convinced Braun Strowman should have been in that main event segment. I think this should have went on last. I'm cool with that. I would be cool with that. Zayn made Strowman look like $1 million. He is a perfect opponent. Strowman looked like he killed Zayn when he went for that torpedo DDT. I did think that going to a commercial in a match like this was really stupid.
Yeah.
That was awkward. Just a little weird. Like, as I noticed we were in commercial, I was like, did I miss something? Like, did I look down and like during my notes and miss something? Also, I think WWE needs to explain why there's no chair shots to the head after having them for so long. Just say, hey, we don't want our guys getting concussions. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Just say, hey, that's a massive fine if they do that. Nothing wrong with doing that.
I agree. I think that your massive fine thing would be one of those things where, like, Baron Corbin would do it anyway because, like, I don't care. I'm going to pay that fine. Give me that. Like, you have the guys who in football who, like, yeah, I'll pay the fine for this ridiculous touchdown dance I came up with because I'm going to do that dance. I'll pay that fine, but it's
that's why it should be a massive fine.
Yeah, let's say like it's $1 million. I'm fine with that.
An obscene amount.
Yeah.
We found out, well, we didn't find out, we kind of knew. Braun can't sell for shit.
Well, yes.
He did the Mortal Kombat, like, finish him.
Right. Listen, the thing is, you can't, if you're going to book this guy like a monster, nothing really should affect him. A lot of stuff that Zayn was doing to him didn't seem like it should really affect him. I'm much better with Braun, like, doing the wobble and, thing than I am with, say, for example, Shinsuke Nakamura taking 20 minutes of leg damage and then using his final 5 moves with that leg to win on offense. That to me is a different kind of not selling that I'm less okay with than this. But you're right. Yeah, it was hard to believe all that stuff because it's hard to believe that anything, like, if you could hit him with a truck and he'd be like, ow. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. So a kendo stick's not going to do much damage, and it didn't. But yeah, it was. This was pretty great. Really well booked. Made both guys look great. This was exactly what I wanted to happen when I came up with this idea on my own, by myself, on the podcast a couple months ago. And obviously, the WWE is watching and took this idea and went with it. And I commend them for knowing a great idea when they saw one.
They used a lot of their production tricks in this, a lot of, like, smoke and mirrors type of things, and it worked. It worked. Strowman threw some great knees towards the end, like really, really great knees. He was phenomenal. And I think it was Rovert on Twitter that said, imagine if he was around in 1987. Well, if he was around in 1987, he would have been 100 pounds heavier because he probably would have been on steroids.
True.
But, man, A guy, they've got something with him, and if they keep protecting him and he keeps improving at the rate in which he does, and he keeps working with the right people, good news.
Yeah.
We had a segment backstage, New Day and Jack Gallagher. I thought this was kind of cool. You meshed the New Day and Gallagher a little bit. They were all backstage playing with umbrellas after Gallagher. They were putting over the gentleman's duel, Alex.
Right. When I saw that that's what they were doing, I was so excited. And then it landed 10 seconds later, and I was like, no, this should be a thing. Like, the New Day's not doing anything right now. Jack Gallagher should teach the New Day how to be gentlemen. You could. I
was hoping it was like an 8-man tag situation being set up.
Oh my! There's just so many things you could have done with this, but it was over. It was immediately done. Like
imagine one of the cruiserweights working with Big E in the ring.
Oh.
And just flipping and flying and catching.
See, they're not allowed to touch each other, though. See, that's the thing, is that we're selling them as being tiny little precious things made out of glass that can bounce into each other and not hurt each other. But if they're touched by somebody who weighs 206 pounds, they'll just shatter into a million pieces.
I saw somebody's tweet that said, it was a picture from a live event of a cruiserweight match, and it said the crowd didn't make a lot of noise during the cruiserweight match. Maybe they were confused because the ropes weren't purple. New Day went out and gave out their New Year's resolutions, and Titus O'Neil interrupted and said that he wanted to join the New Day. Titus got one of the bigger pops of his career as he played a whistle, but they ended up trashing each other. This led to a match with Xavier Woods. Here are my notes. Sometimes you forget how athletic Xavier Woods is. Sometimes you forget how bad Titus O'Neil is.
Yeah.
You people, not all you people, some of you people were pegging Titus O'Neil as a potential main eventer a couple years ago. I remember the tweets. I can go back and find them. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it back then. Couldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it now. It was Xavier getting a win. Whatever. They're in the Royal Rumble, though.
Yeah.
That begs the question.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So I'll ask you this. Here's the main question I have for you. What will Kofi Kingston's spot be in this match?
Well, they already did the thing, I think, last year where he, landed on Big E, and Big E carried him out on his shoulders outside of the ring, which is pretty great.
Yes. Did I tell you the idea that my friend and I always wanted?
No, please do.
We wanted Hunico to make a Royal Rumble return. Kofi Kingston gets knocked out, and he lands on his bicycle and rides around the ring and does bunny hops and shit.
Well, here's the thing they could do. He could land on Enzo Amore's wheelchair.
Yes! Well, oh, man, I bet the seat would break, or
there's something wrong with that.
But here's, they could brilliantly play it off this year. They could say that the New Day streak ended, and so did Kofi Kingston's streak of luck.
Oh, yeah. That could be good.
You got to do that if he screws it up.
Yeah.
And thus far, he hasn't. He was real close during that WrestleMania Battle Royal. Real close.
Yeah. I thought this whole segment was just more of the baby faces just being really mean to people. Like Titus came out, and for the most part, he was very respectful about, I would like to join the New Day. And then he's like, I'll even play your trombone. And Xavier says, you can't touch her. And he says, okay, I won't. That's not starting a fight. At one point, he said that Big E didn't look great, but that's about it. Yeah. And then Xavier Woods just reads into him, just tears him apart, says that you should wind up on the back of a milk carton, which is what we do to children who've been abducted and murdered.
That was rough.
That was dark. That was morbid.
Rough.
And, it was said he didn't have a manhood or something like that. It's just a lot more of baby faces just being really mean people.
Next, he's going to say that you want to see him on a poster at Walmart or on Investigation Discovery. Did you know that Fightful.com's own Anna Bauert was on an Investigation Discovery show one time?
I believe I heard that.
I realized that I had seen that episode, and I was like, holy shit, you played Martha Moxley. You got your head beat in with a golf club. And I knew that I remembered it.
There you go.
Big fan of Investigation Discovery. What can I say? Maybe that's what subliminally got her the job. Watch Most Ridiculous featuring Anna Bauert on our YouTube and Fightful.com It is one of my favorite things about this site. What do we have next? Oh, yeah. Xavier Woods won with a sunset flip. I like that. Good. In this supposed to be era of unpredictability, since Brock Lesnar got beat in 86 seconds, there needs to be more of this. What do we got here? Backstage stuff. Bayley and Stephanie McMahon. I liked their exchange. I'll tell you why. Also, stop putting so much goddamn makeup on these girls.
Yeah.
Stop it. They're making Bayley look like a clown. She does not need it. Part of her appeal was that she didn't have too much of it. And then these main roster makeup ladies go crazy. Paint them up like a rodeo clown. They did it the weekend that I want to say maybe it was this past WrestleMania weekend they did it too. Because that's who was doing her makeup that weekend. I've talked enough about makeup. I'm okay with Bayley getting run down by Stephanie McMahon here because that's a part of Bayley getting over, whereas most guys, it's not. Also, Bayley can beat the shit out of Stephanie McMahon at some point. That's a realistic thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Alex, what'd you think of this?
I really enjoyed it. But here's the thing. Like, to me, it's this weird thing of, are you making Stephanie the mega heel or not? Because there's this point where it's like the things that she says to Bayley sometimes, like in this particular case, and she says to other people sometimes, like what she hates Sami Zayn and thinks Sami Zayn has nothing to offer or whatever. These are the people who are the biggest true baby faces in the company, and she hates them. But then she comes out and expects to get a big pop when she says, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." Like, no, we hate you. Because last week you just shit all over our favorite people. So you like, she either make it a thing where she thinks she's a baby face and she's totally not, or make or I don't know, but like it was kind of weird. I agree with you. I was looking at Bayley's eyeshadow for most of this segment. When we'll come to this back to this later. When she made the match,
I'm talking this much about makeup, but. It's a thing. It happened.
When she made the match, for the number one contenders match, to wrestle Charlotte at the Rumble, and she did it with Bayley versus Nia Jax. I was like, how are you going to protect Nia Jax in this? Because I thought to myself, they have to protect Nia Jax, and to me, we'll talk about it, but they didn't, and it was a really weird decision to me.
I asked the question on Twitter today. Have you ever tossed a family member, a pet, a significant other, or a loved one over the back of your couch, Royal Rumble style?
Are you asking
Answer
me?
The question. Yes, I'm asking you.
I probably tossed a roommate over the back of my couch when I was in college.
That counts. Anything. Yeah. 77% yes, 23% no. Also, 23% lying their asses off as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Lying your asses off. We got some more Noam Dar, Cedric, Alicia creepiness.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Then we got Cedric versus Drew Gulak. So Cedric is over, so they beat him a lot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool idea. Yeah.
Really,
all there is to say about that from me. What do you have?
I love that Drew Gulak and Tony Nese are best friends. And when one of them has a match, the other one comes to the match in a full suit. I think that's a really cool gimmick. I don't know what it signifies, but I think that's really cool. These are guys who, when they it feels to me like they're old prize fighters from like the 40s who would like dress in the finest suits, but when they had a match, they stripped down to like their trunks or whatever and like would bare knuckle box people. Like, it feels that way to me. So I like that a lot. I don't know where it's going, and probably going nowhere, like most of the stuff they're doing. But it's weird to me that Cedric Alexander is like caught up in a feud with these two dudes, and also Noam Dar, who's just there to like zip jackets all the way up to his throat and go, Alicia Fox. Like, that's just basically his whole gimmick. So I don't know what they're doing with it, but obviously Cedric Alexander is hugely over with the crowd. So let's keep him as far away from the cruiserweight title picture as possible.
So I asked somebody who works with WWE. I'm like, so I've noticed a little more of this type of stuff than previous years per se.
Yeah.
And the quote I was given was, well, we're about to live in a different world, aren't we?
Oh, no.
And I was like, fair. Not enough to make a story out of on Fightful.com, but enough for me to bring it up on the podcast, I guess. Man. What do we got here? What's up next? Oh, yeah. TJP defeats Brian Kendrick. So one of the reasons I wasn't too hot on the brand split idea was that we'd see a lot of the same matches 100 times.
Yeah.
We are 93 away from that with TJP and Kendrick. 7 singles matches since September between the two.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's too much. I don't understand why this match existed. You have other guys for TJP to wrestle if you want to get him over so he can have a match tomorrow night with Neville. Like we remember, because it was like 3 weeks ago when he was having like long matches with Brian Kendrick, and it was really difficult to beat him because Brian Kendrick was doing like crazy stuff and asking like TJP to let him win and stuff. And this was literally just weeks ago, and now it's like no big deal. He just goes out there and beats Kendrick like it's nothing, it's just weird. Like there's other people for him to beat. Have him beat Tony Nese with Drew Gulak ringside in a suit. That'd be fun. But like this isn't anything. All you're doing is building toward hopefully Neville beating the crap out of TJP tomorrow night, and then Neville finally getting his cruiserweight match with Swan at the Rumble, and Neville winning, and then we can have the baby faces, including Cedric Alexander, chasing Neville. So we can get to a 4-way ladder match for the Cruiserweight Championship involving Neville, Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann, and somebody else. Not TJP, because I'm kind of done with him.
I can't remember if it was this show or another show, but I wish they would go the one of the few things that ECW, like the remake, did that I liked was Ric Flair would like come in and compete for the ECW title, and people would be like, well, shit, I'm going to watch that. If the people that we mentioned, Enzo, Xavier Woods, Sami Zayn keeps doing this thing where he's like, well, I don't know. I'm not a cruiserweight. I'm 212 pounds. When Cedric Alexander dropped from like 225, 230 to make that limit.
Yeah.
I would like to see them compete and lose.
Yeah.
Have Neville beat them. There's nothing wrong. Neville's beaten most of those people already anyway.
Right. Now, we skipped Roman and Jericho, right?
We're getting back to it. I just lumped in the cruiserweight stuff.
Okay, cool.
I somehow missed the Rusev, Jinder Mahal, Enzo Cass thing. I got to go back and watch that.
No, you don't.
What happened?
No, you don't have to go back. They promoted heavily today that it is going to be a tag match between Rusev and Jinder Mahal and Enzo and Cass. They said, well, tune in tonight. You're going to want to see this. It's going to be great. And then Enzo didn't compete in it. It was a handicap match that they thought, this is fair. Rusev and another big dude versus Big Cass is a fair fight. We want you to think this. And then it was over in like a minute and a half. And it started out as like they were tagging in for the handicap, and then they stopped doing that. And Big Cass ran wild over all of them until he got distracted by Jinder and took a big kick from Rusev and got pinned. They didn't have him tap out to the Accolade. I've never seen Rusev hit that kick and then not go into the Accolade, which is weird. And I've never seen him win with that kick. So they had the only way apparently you can beat Big Cass is if two guys who are almost his size team up against him alone. But that was it. That was what they promoted heavily all afternoon.
I have a lot of people saying you don't need to watch it. It was dumb. Well, I have to watch it. I do the Sean Raw Sapp Raw blog every week. My Raw thoughts that go up at 8 a.m. Eastern every Tuesday morning. You can also watch this show embedded in that. But yeah, I don't want to leave that incomplete. Sounds like I didn't miss a lot. United States Championship, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens is banned from ringside. The rule was if Reigns gets DQ'd or counted out, he lost the title. I did like those stakes. I was not too into this match till the end, but they turned up the heat at the end, and I really loved Chris Jericho trying to bust out the Eddie Guerrero spot to get it done. Reigns won, and I don't know why he still has this belt.
Nope.
Because if he loses it like a week or two before the Rumble, well, we're gonna know the score.
Right. Right. This was the perfect opportunity to put the title on Jericho, which I don't know if I would like because then he's not defending the belt at Rumble either. But, whatever. The Eddie Guerrero thing was great, was brilliant. And then, in the first instance of this happening in the history of wrestling, the ref believed Roman Reigns when he said he didn't hit him with the belt. Because Roman Reigns is so upstanding, why would he lie? It's like child George Washington chopped down a cherry tree and told his father, I cannot tell a lie, because he's so pure of heart. Why would he ever need to lie to win a match? I'm fine with it if they've ever done it before, but I don't remember it. Every time somebody would do that, Eddie would throw the belt to somebody, lie down, he'd turn around, and no matter how big of a baby face that person is, the ref would go, I see you holding the belt, I see him lying down, therefore you hit him, you're disqualified. And I don't know why that didn't happen here. So yeah, it was just another way of showing how Roman Reigns is above everything else. It was just funny.
So,
at this point.
I know why it shouldn't have happened there because he didn't do it.
Well, yeah.
One.
Right.
It's rude. He didn't do it.
Well, no, Alex, I'm just saying consistency is basically all I ask for.
Sure.
As a bottom line, and that was just.
Well, maybe these refs are evolving. Hey, speaking of refs evolving, guys, as I mentioned, me and Shane tackled a bunch of rules, like weird rules in pro wrestling, like DQs on a title match. Like, why isn't going through an announce table a DQ? Why is a taped fist illegal? Why were closed fists illegal? We tackled a lot of that stuff on the podcast last week. Go check that out. I mentioned, I don't like refs taking away from matches, taking away from attention. I would love if there was just a no-nonsense ref, like a ref that these heels would get, and they would go, oh, shit. Mike Chioda, I'm getting him. He doesn't let anything fly. Like, I'm not getting away with anything if Chioda's in there. Just have a I think that could enhance a lot of stuff. And he builds it up. He doesn't give a lot of warnings. He DQs people when they I hate that it should be a good referee gimmick because they should all be good. You're taught, especially, don't bury the ref in the first match because otherwise the fans will not respect him throughout the show. But I mean, they've conditioned us to think that all refs are morons. So I don't know. Bayley defeated Nia Jax in a number one contender match. Whoever agented this match should have really nixed that ring post shoulder spot that we saw like 3 or 4 times tonight because it happened a lot. Sasha Banks distracts Nia, allows Bayley to hit an awesome super Bayley to belly or belly to Bayley. I can't remember which it is for the win. And I'm cool with Bayley having Nia Jax's number. I'm okay with that. And it sets up your 2 matches for the Rumble.
Yeah. I felt like the Nia Jax undefeated on the main roster thing was special and important. I guess they could have made a bigger deal about, holy crap, Nia Jax got pinned. That's amazing. It's a difficult thing because if you watch NXT, you've seen her lose several times, to Bayley and to Asuka. But if you don't watch NXT, this is the first time you've seen this monster of a woman pinned. It's a major deal, but they didn't make that into a major deal. It should have been this. My thought was it would be kind of interesting if Charlotte had interfered on behalf of Bayley because she thinks Bayley is a much easier target to beat at the Royal Rumble, and in the process makes an enemy of Nia Jax. You could protect Nia Jax in that way, and then also leave something open for the future. I guess she was distracted by an injured woman walking out with her music playing, which was enough to have her, have Bayley leap up and belly-to-belly suplex a woman 4 times her size. But okay.
Imagine if NBA players had the mental state of WWE wrestlers because, like, Jimmy Butler would not have dropped 52 points if he hears like smoke weed every day playing in the background like they do over the PAs at it's so weird. That's what gets them. I don't know.
And it'd be so great if you have like LeBron James at the free throw line and then, by God, that's Kevin Durant's music, and he just uses it. That'd be great.
Okay. Main event segment. It's the Kevin Owens show. And obviously Chris Jericho is the Andy Richter of this show. And they have an actual man standing with a Kevin Owens show shirt and like a block there. Chris Jericho announces that he is in the Royal Rumble. This is his best chance to win a Royal Rumble of his career.
Yeah.
The best chance.
Yeah.
Somebody says Alex needs a new background setting. Yeah, I might get I think I'm getting a green screen soon, so y'all might not see all of this.
Wow.
I don't know if I want you all to see
fancy
a movie poster of me and my wife and a gas heater because electric is ridiculous in this size of a house, or my leather chair emporium I've got going on here, or my foam that I have on the wall so sound won't bounce, so I might have a green screen. I don't want to pull open Google Effects and mess up something. I'm not doing it, but
don't do it.
I might do that. Alex, you might need one too, buddy. Look at that.
I might. I'm planning on drywall on this thing and actually putting up real, like making this thing go finished basement. But I don't know when I'm gonna have time for that. I'm busy doing Fightful stuff.
That's true. Goldberg comes out. Then, he's so damn cheesy on the mic. I hate him on the mic.
He is.
He's spear, jackhammer.
That's what's gonna happen.
Kevin Owens makes fun of him and throws like.
Oh, that was the best part of the entire night. Even better than Braun winning. Like Kevin Owens just being completely unafraid of Goldberg. That was just so wonderful. And I thought he was going to pay for it by getting speared and jackhammered. But that was just so great. Like him being legitimately, that was the guy who came in and beat John Cena clean. That was that guy. That's the guy I've been wanting him to be as Universal Champion this whole time, and they haven't let him be it.
We have somebody saying he ain't winning shit, to be honest, SRS. Yeah, if they want to set up a Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho title match, which they absolutely could. He could win it because Kevin Owens was worried. He was not happy. Mm-hmm. Roman Reigns comes out. You got a cool moment where he and Goldberg go face to face. That was kind of neat. That was a moment. Then Braun Strowman comes out, and I thought to myself, oh, shit. He's getting speared. He's getting speared. This whole night was used to get these two guys over, and they speared him
together
simultaneously. I want to know what you thought of it.
Oh, it was awful. The whole thing was just bad. Like when I saw that it was Jericho out there, I thought, okay, Jericho can take a spear. It won't hurt him. He's the guy who takes finishers from people. He gets pedigreed 3 times every week. That's fine. I wanted them to protect Owens, which they did, but not to the detriment of this monster you've built for months now. I mean, granted, it took 2 of them to knock him down. You know what I mean? I would have liked it if he had been knocked down but not out. Like if he had rolled to the outside and stood up and stared him down, that would have been fine with me because I understand why 600 pounds of men running at you.
Where Jeff Hardy hit him in the head with a chair and he didn't fall down. He fell to the outside of the ring and just stared at him.
Yeah, something like that to protect him in some way. But just to prove that Goldberg and Roman Reigns together could knock down Braun Strowman, which we kind of already would have assumed if he didn't show it to us. It just looked. By the way, we forgot Paul Heyman coming out just to announce that Brock Lesnar wasn't there, which was really great. It was just useless. But the best part about Heyman being in this thing entirely was Braun walks down to the ring, turns, sees a cowering in the fetal position Paul Heyman, and plucks the microphone and to talk and say, if anyone's going to win the Royal Rumble match, it's going to be me. And then he gets in the ring and gets speared. You're muted.
Brilliant stuff from Paul Heyman there where he was cowering. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm usually pretty passive when it comes to like the Roman Reigns stuff. He's a good worker. I think a lot of people will be like, "Oh no, he's not." Oh, yeah, he's a pretty damn good worker. He got a 4-star match out of Big Show. And I had some people that were like, "Well, it was a weapons match. Anybody could do that." Well, everybody doesn't do that. So
No,
get the hell over it.
He's fine in the ring. It's just the way that they book him and write him to me.
You got 4 other really over people who got over naturally in that ring. Goldberg came back, he's over. Jericho got over. Kevin Owens is over. Braun Strowman got over. And they're like, all right, let's give this guy the rub. Let's get it, because this will work. This will get him. No, when really him being a dickhead heel would get him over in 2 months.
Yeah.
At the most. Then there was a guy, like I said, The Rock, you turned him heel for a few months in the corporation, and then he was one of the biggest baby faces. It's not tough.
Yeah,
it's not tough.
There are the moments where he's been the most over was when he was just a wrecking crew by himself. The moment where he decked Vince McMahon, they loved him, mostly because he was decking Vince McMahon, but they loved him. When he beat the crap out of Triple H after Sheamus beat him, I mean that was huge. Like, it was a year ago, and Philly loved him. Like, it would not take him very long at all to be over as a heel. But what they did here is just like, have him come out and be like, "You two guys are delusional, and I got something for you, Bill Goldberg." It's just Smarmy Joe, and I don't like him. I don't like this person they've created, and to tell him, and then the problem is that you look in the crowd, because they have all those ridiculous random crowd shots, and it's just children who are cheering for him, just 11-year-old boys who are like, "He's the superhero, and I want to be just like him." Like, that's fine for 11-year-old boys, but there's got to be some kind of nuance or reality to this character in some way, to me.
Preaching to the choir. We'll get into the questions here. Other than HBK, what top stars has Jericho beaten cleanly? I don't have an encyclopedia of wrestling in front of me.
No, didn't he beat AJ clean as a whistle at Mania?
I believe so. Does one intriguing last man standing match and a really solid 3 to 4 final minutes of Raw save a 3 hour and 10-minute shit fest? No. Because I would argue that the last 3 to 4 minutes of Raw were not good. How huge of schmucks do Owens and Jericho look like for not having Owens come out and attack Jericho so he could win the title? Not very much. It makes whoever asked the question look like a schmuck. No offense, because Owens was banned from ringside. What do you think of WrestleMania 34 coming back to New Orleans, Alex?
Well, it's basically like the Super Bowl, isn't it? There's like 6 cities that they rotate between. I guess there was a lot of talk about it being in Minneapolis and the new big stadium they're building up there. I mean, I'm fine with it. The WrestleMania 30 was great. That crowd was great. It had amazing moments. WrestleMania 30 is a seminal. That's where The Undertaker lost his streak. That's where Daniel Bryan had his amazing WrestleMania. So yeah, let's bring it back there. Like, basically, it's 4 years later, and we can build up this whole thing of the mystique of Mania in that way. Would be is fine. I'm interested in seeing what other places they might do it. Botched Jinder Mahal fan says Goldberg needs to stop cutting everyone off from speaking. Yeah, that's annoying. He forgot his cue.
Yeah. Rob says, remember when Eric Rowan was the co-main event of WrestleMania? Good times. Yeah, with The Rock.
Here's the thing.
Nobody can take that away from him.
Right. What act is The Rock or Stone Cold going to come in and piss all over at Mania this year? That's my thinking. Like, who's not? My thought is that if they actually use Conor McGregor to come in and do something and just knock somebody out or do something, that person's going to be Rusev. That's who they're going to use to do it.
Well, look at it this way. Who were the ones they crapped all over this
year?
It was Sheamus, Del Rio, Barrett, and Rusev. 2 of those guys are long gone.
Right. But then they also crapped all over the New Day by having
that's true.
Stone Cold stunner Xavier Woods. And then they had The Rock just come out and just call basically the entire Wyatt family fat, and then beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds. So we'll see who it is this year, but I'm hoping that those guys will be safe.
Do we think that Triple H will be in the Rumble to progress the Rollins storyline?
Well, was this not the first Monday without Monday Night Football? I thought all the games were yesterday. To me, seems like this is the prime time now for Triple H to get back on TV, so that they attribute the ratings going up to him being back and not the fact that football's over.
Maybe. What do we think of The Undertaker being on Raw next week instead of SmackDown?
Well, it's in New Orleans, right? Which is where they just announced Mania 2000 next year.
Michaels will be on the show too.
Michaels will be on the show too. Two things. A, he's announcing he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be great. I think he should come in at 30. I think it'd be like to save him some wear and tear. I would love to see him win it, coming in at 30, and then challenge Cena, who just beat Styles that night. I think that's a cool way of booking it. But also the possibility is that he says next WrestleMania is gonna be my last WrestleMania, 2018, back here in New Orleans. I'm gonna exercise the demons that, like, where I lost my streak here. This is where I'm gonna end it. And he could call somebody out, possibly. Like they could do that far in advance for Undertaker's final thing, since it's in the same city.
It's a great idea. A great idea. People ask me who I think will win the Rumble. It's too early to tell. I'll give that answer a little bit closer. I will be at the Rumble, so will Kyler James. Alex, you going to break the site while I'm gone? Your wife might give birth.
I'm going to try my damnedest to not break the site if my wife is not currently in labor.
Oh, man. Going to have to, make sure that Carlos and John have, editing privileges and stuff. And, I've already asked a bunch of people. I'm like, listen, Jeff, are you doing any podcasts that weekend? I need you on if possible. Anna, are you busy that weekend?
Yeah.
Need you on if possible. And I'm going to try, we'll have Alex, send me the link to the podcasts, and I will do my best to call in to those and, do, a brief, 5-minute thing, because I'll be on a phone if I do that.
Yeah.
And give, a little live update. And if my audio sucks and you can't hear me, eject me from the damn thing. We got an unusual. How many NXT champions do you see holding titles post-WrestleMania? That's a very vague question.
Well,
a very vague question.
There could be. Charlotte isn't Charlotte one, and Bayley's one, and
yeah, that's too vague of a question. I'm sorry,
it's too much. It's there's you have to name me all the people who were there, but I don't know.
A ton of people. What's the end game for Roman's U.S. title reign? Double champion. That's possible, but what's next? Who beats him for it? All right, now.
How about he defends it against somebody other than Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho? That's what I would like to see. Okay.
Now, the same person that I asked about the storylines.
Yeah.
I said, is he getting both of these titles? And the person said, if he did, then it was probably inspired by Vince seeing Conor McGregor with 2 titles.
Right.
And I was like, he's had a person with 2 titles a million times.
Yeah, but this one's
different. He said, he didn't say it was inspired. He said, if it happens, it probably was inspired by this most recently. And I was like, well, here's the thing. I don't want to say Roman Reigns isn't over, but it's not an achievement if he does it. I don't know.
The Let's Go Roman sucks chants tonight were really, really loud. Both versions of them, but just the whole thing of the commentary team putting over, wow, you sure are passionate about him. Just that doesn't explain away how half of your audience is booing him,
That's my biggest pet peeve in life is my intelligence being insulted.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Let's see. What do we have here? Am I going to Evolve in San Antonio? I'm going to try to make it. here's the situation there. I'm trying to fly in Friday. Now, January in Kentucky is unpredictable and rough. I may not get in until Saturday afternoon for all I know. They may delay flights and delay. Matt, I think, gets in late Friday night, and I don't know where he'll be. Immediately after Evolve, he's getting the hell out of town. He has Submission Underground the next day against Jeff Cobb. So he's got that. I'm hoping I can make it to the Evolve show. There's a Wrestle Rumble thing that I'd like to participate in. I like those people, but hey, if the boss man wants me to go to Evolve, I've got to go to Evolve. It's my job. It's my job. Follow us at Fightful Online, Twitter and Facebook. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. We have features coming all week long. I have one on the state of the UFC women's 135-pound division. Konstantin Eckner has some stuff as well. Showdown Joe has tons of stuff. I'm sure Alex does as well. Most Ridiculous with Anna Bauer. If you do not watch this show, what would I do? What would I do? I will give you a bunch of expired coupons and laugh at you when you go and use them and they are actually expired.
Sick burn, boss.
Got him. Alex, where can they follow you on Twitter?
At Pawlowski the fourth, PAWLOWSKITHE, the numeral 4TH.
Guys, if you all are not watching these Matt Riddle and Shane Helms podcasts, I don't know what to tell you. You're dumb. Subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. Leave us a thumbs up. Visit Fightful.com. We got all your news. We got all your live coverage. We don't hit you with a billion little articles like, oh, photo of Chris Jericho or getting on a plane. We put all that stuff in fight size updates. That way you're not clicking 700 different articles all day. We're here for you. Of course, traffic drives our revenue, but we don't want to do it at the expense of alienating our readers. We have photo sections, video sections, exclusive sections, forums. Register absolutely free at Fightful.com. We have financial analysis from Brandon Howard. He has a feature coming out this week. It's all there. Fightful.com. There is nothing that you could possibly need that Fightful.com doesn't have. More live coverage and discussion than any other website. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm back tomorrow night after SmackDown. We are out.